most roads are unknown. These are the Paranormal Roads.
Hello everybody, this is Paranormal Roads. You're listening to episode 3. We'll be talking about Ebola. This is Jack.
This is Mike.
I wanted to talk about Ebola because it's relevant. And I have some theories on it, some ideas.
Scary, Ebola. A little bit.
It is scary. And I have some theories or predictions on it.
Right, can't wait to hear them.
So, Ebola. Does everybody know what it is? Doesn't sound too fun. Even saying it doesn't sound good.
From Africa, right?
It's a virus. It's kind of like the cold, but it's worse. Its mortality rate's like 50%.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah. There's like 3 West African countries that are just really, like everyone has it there.
Right. Yeah. I've seen that. I mean, as to date, it is it's October 2014. About over 4,000, I believe. I read on the internet the other day. So
yeah,
it's starting to spread a little bit.
So we want to talk about it because this week, the very first U.S. citizen died in the U.S. with Ebola.
Right, in Texas.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas. Which is also prevalent to what I want to talk about. He came through a plane, okay? Now, the problem with Ebola is the way it spreads. Doctors say that it's not easy to spread.
Right.
But I think they're lying.
What do they say now? What are they telling us? That it is spread only if you come in contact with the bodily fluids, right?
Yeah, but that's very easy. Here's the thing. Ebola, if it's not easy to spread, why does everyone in Africa have it? Why is it such a pandemic?
I know. The countries, the 3 countries that are most prevalent that have it are spread apart pretty far.
Yeah.
So these people aren't walking like thousands of miles to the next country to infect somebody. It's coming probably through the airports.
Yeah. Once it hits an area, it's there.
Yeah.
So if we don't contain it here in the United States, I think it will spread very quickly. It will spread like the cold.
I can see that.
The cold comes, it has its seasons here, and everybody gets the cold.
Right.
It spreads like the cold.
So,
but it has a higher mortality rate.
It does not spread through, like, well, I guess if you sneeze, well, yeah, that's bodily fluids, right?
Yeah.
If I sneezed on you right now and I had Ebola, you could possibly get it, right?
Yeah. Here's another thing. You don't have to worry just about Ebola. There's other diseases out there. You could have someone with the flu. You could have someone that has Ebola also. And then they have respiratory illness that when they spread that, they also spread Ebola.
Huh.
Like in the winter season's coming up.
Well,
so it's going to spread more during the winter.
Right, when everybody's enclosed indoors, right.
Yep.
Everybody's huddled together to keep warm, so to speak. But so the people are getting on the plane, right? And they're worried about the people coming directly from Africa. The plane's coming from Africa. They set up in the major airports. They have health centers set up to screen everybody. So not only do you get to deal with the TSA like groping you and like checking out your body parts, your private parts on the X-ray machine. Now they're probably with rubber gloves and masks.
What they're doing is they're taking people's temperatures.
Ah.
Yeah, they're taking your temp. If you have a temp higher than a certain degree, I think they hold you or they ask you more questions.
Right.
Did you know the United States is the only country that's not restricting travel to those African countries?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we're the only country. And the guy that died, he went to the hospital and they let him leave. And they knew he traveled to those countries.
Right. I think I heard that. And then they put his whole apartment complex on lockdown.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and there's another man that was living in an apartment. He is now sick.
No kidding.
Yeah. So This is like the worst case scenario.
So
the guy doesn't even live in his own house. He lives in an apartment complex where he meets and greets other people.
So how many people did he come in contact with? And how many people did they come in contact with? And so on and so on. Who knows how many people really have it? And is the government covering it up?
Well, here's another. Do you ever watch the movie Outbreak?
Yes.
Outbreak came out like 2000 something. It has Gwyneth Paltrow in it.
Mm-hmm.
She went on a business trip to Africa. The disease in that movie, you know what it is?
What was it?
Ebola.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Huh. Yeah, I forgot
so
about
this
that.
movie predicted how it would spread in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And it pretty much killed millions.
Oh, sure.
So I'm not going along with this movie, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think we're being told the whole truth. I don't think they're screening people properly, especially if he's gone to the hospital and he's being sent home. I guess his wife is sick now. She's quarantined. I don't know if they have any kids or not. But can you imagine if his... Here's another thing with Ebola. Say he comes home. You know how long... You could have Ebola for 21 days without any symptoms.
Wow.
So you could be healthy for 21 days. You could appear to be healthy for 3 weeks. And in that 3-week time, you could spread that disease.
No kidding.
Yes. That's the scary part of that disease.
Right. And you know, we love government conspiracies on this show. So when the government's telling you, oh, well, only 4,000 people died and more people die from the common cold than will ever die from Ebola. You know, when the government comes out and tells you, the CDC comes out and says, when they say more than 50% of anybody who gets it dies, but don't worry about it. It's okay. You just know the government fudges numbers.
Oh, yeah, they do.
The number's got to be 10, 20 times more than 4,000, so who knows what the numbers really are.
Well, there are people in the government, I don't know who they are, but there's organizations that they're linked with, and they are all for population going decreasing.
The Bilderbergers, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know the Bilderbergers. It's the elite of the world, the rich elite, the smart elite. Yeah,
that's one of their.
It's one of their goals.
Yep.
There is, and which kind of disturbs me. I don't know where it's at, and I didn't do any research for the show because I didn't know we were going to do Ebola today.
Yeah.
There's a big stone slab that somebody wrote
down in Atlanta, or not Atlanta, down in Georgia.
It's in Georgia with the 10 Commandments, but it's not. It's their version of the 10 Commandments, like.
Unknown, they don't know who paid for it.
Right. But it'll last forever. It'll last like hundreds and thousands a year. So what if our population gets wiped out by Ebola and the next generation of human beings come and here's these rules?
Well, I think on the rule it says the population of 500,000 people in the world.
So what's going to happen?
Maintained.
Right. What's going to happen when the next generation of humans come along and they're like, oh, well, this stone tablet, it must have been left by God, so we better kill people, you know what I mean? So it's kind of freaky if you
people make religions out of... I'm religious, but there are a lot of religions out there. Why? Because people make up religions.
Right, they make them up all the time.
These people, during World War II, U.S. planes dropped goods on like small islands in the Pacific.
Right.
That like tribal people. If you go there today, they have made new religions based on the airplanes that dropped the supplies. They are waiting for U.S. cargo planes to drop supplies to them.
Oh, wow. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, this is true. I forget the name of the island. There's a small island. There's islands all through the Pacific. There's people that they're indigenous. Sure. And they have actually they've made a religion from the U.S. just flying through and dropping goods to these people.
Yeah, and who knows? There's these... societies that are way out in the jungle that only see, well, I'll just call them white man. Like they only see outside white people every once in a while. And what do they think? Like they probably think God. They might think
scientists
that we're gods.
in the Amazon and stuff. Yeah,
the gods come back every 10 years and they have their clipboards and their iPhones.
And they would they think they're gods because they have like these nice clothes. They got these technology with them.
Right.
Like things that we would think is nothing, they would be like, holy wow. The clothes
sure.
itself, the clothing itself is like a technology.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The food, canned food,
Oh yeah, and
magic
there's,
can that has food in it.
yeah,
But-
food from the gods, right? Right. God left us these cans of food, so we don't have any way to open them. They didn't leave us can opener, but
Yeah.
in at any given time, talking about religion and people making up their own religion, at any given time, and I know there's like 5 cases of this going on now, where there's people that are claiming that they are Jesus,
Oh yeah. Yep.
which is in itself isn't real, real scary. But the scary part is that they have a lot of followers.
Oh yeah.
So that'd be like me and you, Jack, saying, well, I'm Cain and you're Abel, and we're back from the Bible. Hey, we're back from the Bible. People follow us, and then people will actually follow them or us.
Well, we look at Christianity. I'm a Christian, but look at Christianity. How many different versions of Christianity are there?
Many.
Yeah, and right after, I think the number is around 19, right after Jesus was gone,
Right.
there was like 19 different versions of Christianity that popped up.
Like right off the bat.
Right off the bat, because they had certain values they wanted to keep,
Oh, yeah.
and they incorporated them into the religion. So
Right. Well, that's human nature. We try to, especially
Remodel things.
males.
Yeah.
Males love to solve problems. So, hey, there's the Bible that my dad gave me, but I find a problem here and I find a problem there. So I'm just going to change this. I'm going to change that. It happens throughout.
it's happening
history.
right now.
Oh, sure.
So,
Yeah.
but I want to go back to the Ebola, okay?
Right.
But I love the banter. You listen to Paranormal Roads, you're gonna hear us just talking back and forth. And I want you to email me paranormalroads@gmail.com. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you think about Ebola. If you agree with us, you disagree with us. Going back to Ebola, I want to say that I've talked to a few people and they don't think it's a problem at all, and I think that's the problem. They don't see any way that a pandemic will happen.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, it's over in Africa. It's not coming here.
Right.
But if you look back in history, not far back, in 1918, the Spanish flu killed 5% of the whole world's population.
Oh, yeah.
I got the statistics. I was reading them right here. 1918. How long ago was that? Was that 100 years ago?
1918. Wow. Son of a gun. It has been about 100 years. What do
It's
you know?
not even 100 years. In 1918, there was a pandemic around the world. 1/3 of all the people in the world became sick. But this is right at the end of World War I. So it got its name the Spanish flu because all of the warring countries, to keep the morale up, they did not put in the press about people being sick and dying. It wasn't it wasn't reported.
No kidding.
The only Spain was a neutral country. Spain did not participate in World War I. So their press, their newspapers, every day they showed the people dying. They showed people getting sick. Their own king became ill. He didn't die, but he became ill. So that's where the name the Spanish flu came from.
Right.
So it affected the whole world, but since it also came at a time of World War I where a lot of people were dying as well, it wasn't reported.
Huh.
So look at that. We have war going on right now.
Yeah. Several.
Yes, we have several wars. What's to say 10,000 people die within the next few weeks? It's not hard to think they wouldn't report it.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, it's already happening.
Where is it happening?
In the United States, people are dying right now from other things. And
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
Ebola is not the only thing you have to worry about. Now I'm going to go back to the statistics. Just real quick back in history.
Sure.
100 million people in the world died in 3 months.
That's
100 million.
Did you say that was 1/3 of the population?
No, that's 5%.
Oh wow.
1/3 got sick.
1/3 got sick.
Yes.
Okay.
25% of the U.S. were ill.
Mm-hmm.
And 700,000 Americans died in a 3-month span.
Wow. Could you see the panic that would happen now? Compared to our populations are way different. We have a lot more people now, but the way the internet is, with people that can communicate instantly with each other. If 700,000 people died from Ebola,
Well, back then we had no plan. People didn't travel, really. Even cars, they didn't travel. They
Right.
stayed in their towns.
True.
So now, if a pandemic hits now, it would spread much quicker
Right.
and much easier.
the only people that used to travel back then were if you were rich or if you were in the military.
Yeah. So that goes back to history. That's all you need to know about the history of, like, that was the Spanish flu. So that's just a model. So you can model things to see the future. There's patterns in the world. History repeats itself.
So what patterns do you see coming up with Ebola?
Well, here's the problem. Ebola, it can be stopped, but it's very easy to spread because right now there are diseases being spread in the United States because we have illegal immigrants crossing the border,
Right.
and they are bringing other diseases in. They could be bringing Ebola in, but
That's true.
they are bringing other diseases in. They're bringing in the enterovirus. I think that's how you say it. I may be wrong on the pronunciation.
Right. I think that's right.
But there's, I think, 4,000 people have died from that so far.
Wow. That many.
Yeah, and there's people being paralyzed. It's paralyzing people.
Right.
Like, people
I've
aren't just
heard.
dying. There's
Yeah.
children being paralyzed from it. It's not being reported. Just like in 1918, this is not being reported. And if you listen to all the cable news, they're only talking about Ebola.
Right.
But there's all the enterovirus it's pretty much not a virus that's known in the United States.
Right.
It's prevalent in other countries. Now you got all these illegals, and they're not just. I'm not saying Mexicans because I think 1/5 of all the illegals are from other countries, from like Saudi Arabia and other countries. So
we have almost a perfect storm. Is the Ebola virus bacterial? Like, can you take antibiotics for that?
no, it's a virus.
So no antibiotics.
It's not bacterial. It's a virus.
Completely out of the picture.
Out of the picture.
It's all virus.
Yes.
So-
The only thing that keeps you alive is staying hydrated. Because the thing that kills, what the Ebola virus does is it dehydrates your body to the point where you die.
Right.
So that's why the U.S. has a better shot at survival rates. Because if you can go to the hospital and you can stay hydrated, like look, the guy that was here, he died.
Right.
The one that had it died. So that's not a really good survival rate, if you ask me.
Oh my goodness, no.
And they're saying the U.S. has a better chance because the hospitals are better. Well, if the one person that had it die, that doesn't look too good.
Oh, exactly.
Now, here's another thing. Let's say it spreads. If this thing spreads, it will spread quickly. Like, it's like a symbiote. A lot of people will be getting it. Do you think the hospitals, look at our healthcare system. Do you think the hospitals have the manpower, the people power, the space
Oh no,
to hook up all these people?
no. Well, does that? Are we going to go to the what are them prison camps that they have? The FEMA camps.
Maybe.
FEMA camps might be the.
But look, back to 1918 real quick.
Right.
So many people died so fast that the bodies were left in the front yards
Wow.
to be picked up.
No kidding.
There was no one to pick them up. Yeah. This stuff is not taught to the U.S. History has been forgotten. So many people died so fast. The front yards of our citizens were filled with corpses,
I could see that happening again.
which brings other diseases. Dead bodies brings the bubonic plague,
Right.
the Black Death. But here's another. The cause for concern is the spread. And so these people are sneaking across the border. They're not, and what's causing why do they have these diseases? You ask. They are not immunized. They don't have any. They don't get vaccines when they're children.
Right, because the healthcare is poor.
Yeah. So the U.S. citizens, we're vaccinated as children. These other countries, they have polio. They got measles.
Right.
They got all these diseases that have been eliminated from the U.S. population.
Right.
And now, if you look at the trend, there's a lot of diseases that are making their ways back. And people, how is this spreading? It's because you got all these people crossing over and they're not being checked.
Right, and then if you have a decreased immune system and you get hit with Ebola, you could pretty much be screwed. Really.
Yeah. And Another problem is these people are crossing over, and the U.S. government right now, they're sending them to sanctuary cities.
So they're spreading out the people that are
They're
with
spreading.
the sickness.
So that's going to cause the illnesses to spread everywhere. And here's another thing. If you ask the government where the people are, they will not tell you. They're all in secret locations.
Huh.
There could be. I'm not trying to scare anyone.
Yeah, and where are they? Really?
There could be somebody from Brazil. I'm not. It doesn't have to be from Mexico. I'm not against Mexico. There could be someone from Kuwait in a sanctuary setup a mile from your house right now.
Sure.
That is carrying Ebola.
Right.
Carrying measles.
Right.
Carrying the enterovirus.
Yeah, and most people would say, well, it's not happening in my town. It must be happening somewhere else. No, absolutely not.
We don't know where it's happening.
These places are hidden. They could be, like Jack said, they could be a mile from your house. They could be 5 miles from your house. Like, what's the safe distance? You know what I mean? 10 feet, 10 miles? Who knows?
So, this could... And what this is the U.S. being foolish.
Right.
It's an ideologue. We got to help everyone. And nothing bad's going to happen to us because we're the U.S.
It's just like the stock market, except it's human lives. With the stock market, the theory is, even if the economy's bad, if you make it look happy, oh yeah, the stock market's great. It's all about perception. You know, keep the perception that the stock market is, oh, it's great. Put your money in here and spend your money and it's awesome. Well, that doesn't really translate over to the medical field so well.
Yeah.
But they try.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing wrong here. Everything's great. You know, the viruses aren't going to get you. You're not going to get sick. Ebola's not going to come. Oh, don't worry about it. Ebola's not even going to come anywhere near you. You're totally safe. Are you?
So, here's what I'm going to say to everybody out there. One more point with people crossing over.
Sure.
We're at all these wars. We have terrorists that hate us. I look back into history again. What was one of the main changing... Can you name me something in the Asian areas that happened that changed the world last time a pandemic happened?
I think I might know the answer to that one. Was it during World War II in China?
No, earlier. Something way back. Something that affected the whole world. That changed. All right, it was either the Black Death or the bubonic plague. During a pandemic, Genghis Khan attacked Europe.
Okay.
And no one knows who that is, he was like from like now China, okay? And he pretty much was a war leader, and he killed everyone. He killed millions of people. This man took advantage of the bubonic plague or the Black Death or what was going on. He would actually, when one of his men would get sick and die, he would get a catapult and shoot dead bodies with the bubonic plague or whatever it was over the walls of these cities.
Man, what a brutal!
So he would just shoot dead, infected bodies in the towers.
Oh man!
And then the whole place would die. They would all get ill and die.
It reminds me of the United States giving smallpox to the Native Americans. I mean, wow. Are we any better than that? I mean, what's going to happen when the crap hits the fan? You know what I mean? Oh.
Yeah, so
scary.
This is so terrorists today are probably doing the same. They're probably sneaking people over that are sick.
That could be. I never thought.
And then they're going to get spread out from our own government.
That's a great theory, Jack, because they're always alerting you for, there could be a dirty bomb attack by terrorists, or they might get their hands on some sort of killer disease from some laboratory. They don't need to go to a laboratory to get some killer disease. They just got to scoop up some body in Africa, get them back here somehow
while they're alive. Get them to sneak over.
And I think Ebola lasts in the body for a certain amount of time.
21 days. So they can purposely force someone to get spit on by sick people.
Sure.
And then send them over while they're still healthy, and then get them over.
That is not paranoia. Everybody out there, that's not paranoia. Look what they did. Look at the lengths they went through on 9/11.
Oh yeah,
hijacking and box cutters and flying I mean, that's high tech. This is low tech. Giving somebody Ebola, bringing them to the country, running around sneezing on people or what have you, or putting Ebola in a spray bottle, $1 spray bottle from the dollar store. You can go around and spray buses, or you can get so many people sick so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope we didn't give them an idea.
Well, no, I'm sure they won't listen to us anyway. But here's the thing. Going back to Genghis Khan. So this is just a model of history. And future shows, I will bring up history because I am a big history buff.
Right.
But did you know that... So Genghis Khan conquered all the way to Eastern Europe. He's the only person from that area to ever do that.
Oh, wow.
From the Asia territory, like to go that far. He owned more land than I think anyone ever did, like an empire. His empire lasted so long. I'm not going to tell you the numbers.
Yeah,
you look it up.
It lasted a long time. You can
look
Google
up Genghis Khan. But to this day, Genghis Khan, if you take a Chinese person today, 1 out of every 5 people they are direct descendants of Genghis Khan.
I remember you telling me that before, and that's
1 out of 5 out of Chinese people, which is what, 2 billion people.
Sure.
So what's 1 out of that's 20%.
Right.
2 billion. That'd be like what, 200 million people.
That's a lot of people.
Are related to that guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of his success was with a pandemic.
I wonder how many people never lived because of him.
He killed a lot of people.
Probably that number's a lot bigger, probably. But yeah, it's crazy to think. And so they're screening people that come off of planes from Africa, but only in, I believe, 5 major cities.
If you're healthy, though, they let you go.
What about? Are they letting people? Are they not scanning the people that come from like let's say England? What if somebody's they're in Africa and they get Ebola?
They send them to England. They come here first.
They go to England. Nobody's checking for Ebola in England.
Yeah.
He has Ebola. 12 days later, he's got a conference in New York City.
Yeah.
Are they even checking him because he's coming from England?
And it doesn't just have to be terrorists. It could be just... The most likely it's not terrorists. You have to worry about just average people traveling.
Right.
Because today, like we said earlier, back in 1918, most people were farmers.
Right.
Most people were distant from each other. Today, everyone is close. There's more people. The population's like 7 times the population it was.
Oh, sure.
Than it was back then. And there's a lot of reasons. We can discuss that in a different show. There's reasons why there's a population increase.
It's a huge tragedy waiting to happen, really.
Yep. But you know what? I think this was a good show. I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Well, yeah, I can't think of anything else about it, but everybody out there, just be careful. I know there's not a lot you can do.
Well, yeah. Well, that's one last thing we can talk about. The things you can do. You could buy some food. Get some bottled water. If this happens, usually the span of something like this is like 3 months. So if you had enough food and water to last in your house for 3 months,
right,
you could actually just not go to work. If this spread and you see everyone's dying, the best thing is to lock up everything, because people try to break in your house. Lock everything up, board everything up, have 3 months supply of water, have 3 months supply of like bread, just bread, peanut butter, something you can eat.
Riots.
Have a mask. Get masks to wear. Get facial shields so people don't spit on you.
Right.
You can get a respiratory mask. I mean, having a respiratory mask would be really good, and eye protection.
Yeah, but how do you prepare? Because what if everybody gets sick within 3 weeks and it's too late? You've already been at work. You know, is there any way that you can
be lucky?
You just got.
But the main thing is have a lot of water. If you have to go to work and everything, get yourself a shield. Where I would walk around town with a facial shield on.
Right. One of the
get a breathing mask.
Yeah.
Get yourself a breathing mat, because thinking seriously, it's illogical that you can just lock yourself up.
Right.
Okay? So the best thing you can do is you can protect yourself with a breathing mask, get a respiratory mask, even get a cheap one that just covers your mouth, and get some goggles. You know how much that costs? That'll cost you like $5 at Home Depot.
Sure.
Wear some safety goggles, buy them for your whole family, get some breathing stuff. Get the ones with the respirators. They're like $3 for like when you do staining and stuff for wood.
Right.
And then buy a lot of water, because if you do get sick, Ebola dehydrates you. That's the main cause of death from Ebola. You actually die from dehydration.
That's the cause.
That's the main
death by dehydration.
Yeah. So that is my advice.
So first, you have to be lucky enough to survive the mass spreading of it.
Oh yeah.
And then hopefully with a lot of prayer, we both believe in God. So with a lot of prayer, I guess, what else can you do?
Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't happen. But if history repeats itself, it could happen.
It's absolutely possible, Jack.
So I don't want to alarm anyone. Just putting out some facts, something for you to think about. Email us at paranormalroads@gmail.com, and I think it's a wrap now.
Yeah, well, don't forget to check out my little efforts. Do web searches on Google or Yahoo and look for Alien Search Guide. I go by author Michael Z, and you can buy my books for 99 cents on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles.
Yeah, I'm Jack.
And I'm Mike.
Bye.
Have a good one. Good luck.